in southeastern Oklahoma. Who's here? It says 12 people are here. Out doing some cardio. This is when I do my thinking, man. Hope everybody's doing all right. We definitely live in a zombie world. Crazy what's going on. Waking up every morning going, okay, what's next? What's new? What's on the horizon? What tyrannies await us? So if you guys are feeling down like I get sometimes, me and Trish were having a conversation about it. It's like, it's hard not to get down. It's a constant struggle to stay up, to stay sane. It almost feels like, you know, the more you watch on TV, and I know some of you don't even have TVs, you don't watch TV, you're not plugged into the news. Unfortunately, there's a lot of people out there that are plugged into the news. They're hooked up to the matrix. They're buying into the left versus right paradigm lie, all the stuff that we talk about. And it's really depressing, as much knowledge as you try to get out there. And then you wonder sometimes, am I even making a dent in this thing? This behemoth is so big. The Leviathan is so corrupt and out of control. How are we ever going to make it out of this thing? Well, we don't. It's kind of sobering and freeing and depressing all at the same time. None of us makes it out alive, guys. None of us is guaranteed tomorrow. I may not make it around this racetrack right here before I get, have a heart attack or get struck by lightning or whatever. All you can do is the best you can do in the time that you have left, and nobody knows how much time they have left. So when you struggle with, being down and being depressed, if you struggle, hey, what's up, guys? How you doing? Am I in prison? Yeah, it's a public indoctrination school prison. A little ways down the road from where I live. This is where the government indoctrination camp happens with the little ones. I love what Malcolm X says. Hey, only a fool would turn his children over to his enemies to be taught by the enemy. That's what that is. The state is your enemy. The state is that great fiction by which everyone seeks to live at the expense of everyone else, and dang sure they're going to live. They're going to extract all your time, your laboring energy, and once they've taken some, they're going to take a little bit more. That's depressing. But what I was saying back there, right around that point on the track, well, hey, look, I made it. I made it this far. I can't even believe it. I'm not dead yet. Do the best you can in the time you got left. None of us is guaranteed the next moment, let alone tomorrow or next week. The death rate for human beings is 100% still. You know that, right? So what is there to fear? We're all going to die. You know how many millions and millions and millions of our kind have already gone before us? Visit a cemetery, man. Those people had long lives. Some people they died at 100, 91, 83, 79, 62. Some died at 6 months. Some died at birth. But the point is, all those people died. They had their shot. Maybe I should be filming this in a cemetery. Maybe next time we do a live stream, I'll do it in a cemetery. They all had their shot. You only get one shot at this life. Why live in fear? Government and mainstream media wants you to live in fear. And then wants you to base the decisions on your life in the time that you have left on that irrational, unfounded fear. So if you ever get depressed and you feel like, man, what's the use of going on? Hey, just pick yourself up and go on. We all get depressed, every single one of us. And this is just as much of a pep talk for you as it is for me, because we do get depressed. Put a 1 in the room if you ever get depressed. If I don't know if I can put a 1 in the room on mobile, but I'd put a 1 in the room. The question is, what do you do with that depression? You can use it to your benefit so that you can strengthen yourself, strengthen your character. Man, what's going on these days? You'd have to be inhuman to say, I'm not. See, look at all the 1s in the room. We're all in the same freaking boat together. And the last thing you want your boat mates to do, look at, a lot of people are putting multiple 1s. Have you read any of David Robinson's work? I've never heard of him, I don't think. We're all in the same boat together, and the last thing that we want to do is start drilling a hole in that boat, because it is going to affect us all. I posted something it was my last Twitter post before I went on my bike ride. It was people are using that analogy of being in the same boat together, and one man using his freedoms to try to dig into the bottom of the boat, which is going to affect everybody. A guy trying to put a hole in the boat that we're all in is a reality that needs to be dealt with. It's not right for that guy, even if it's his boat. His actions will jeopardize somebody else's life. And maybe he's suicidal, and maybe he wouldn't mind for somebody else to be doing that. This is where there's a great issue in the golden rule: do to others what you would want done to you. I always put a caveat on that: do to others what you would want done to you, provided that the person that you're talking about is rational and sane. Insane people want bad things to be done to them. Insane people want people to put a whip on their back and hurt them. Insane people want to cut fingers off and start slashing their flesh and all that kind of stuff. I always put the caveat on: do to others what you would want done to you, as long as that person is a rational, sane human being. No rational, sane human being who loves his fellow man is going to put a hole in the bottom of that boat. Even if it's his boat, he doesn't have a right to do it because he's going to jeopardize somebody else. But that is an objective thing. Putting a hole in the bottom of a boat, or have somebody threatening to put a hole in the bottom of the boat, is not conjecture. It's not made up. It's not, oh my God, there's something out there that's going to invade your lung tissue and cause you to die. Really? Where's the proof of that? And even if that was the case, I'm free to let that, that bug go into my lungs. But that they use that as, yeah, but if you let it go into your lungs, you have no right to go out into the public. It's like, what if hey, there's a drone out here. I hear it. I hear the drone. Where is the drone? The drone just, I don't know if you guys heard it on camera, but it just buzzed right by me. People use that as an excuse of, yeah, but you don't have any right to put that in somebody else's lungs. It's like, dude, I'm well. I don't even have a stuffy nose. I don't have a sniffle. I'm not coughing. And if I do get sick, and I know people freak out about it, I know other people are sensitive to other people getting sick, I'll just remove myself from the equation. But how many of us all have had horrible, horrible flu symptoms, but we still got to do something? Maybe we don't have a sick day to take, and we got to go into work because you got to feed. You got to put food on the table. It's just a bunch of yeah. I know. I feel great. Your phone is the CIA. Exactly. Your phone is the CIA. I'll tell you what. I tell you what depressed me today, guys. I mean, seriously depressed me. While I'm working on videos. Videos rendering and all that kind of stuff. Wow, thank you, Kendra Perkins. I appreciate that super chat. You've always been a huge encouragement to me and letting me know I'm not the only one who finds truth and freedom precious. Oh my gosh, that just gets me right in the heart. You create a semblance of community when you do these live talks. Much love. Holy cow, that's pretty humbling. Thank you, Kendra. And Ann Trower, thank you for that $5 super chat. So thank you, Ann, and thank you, Kendra. And thank you guys, 366 people in the room. I really didn't expect like 30 people to be in the room. If you like these videos, don't forget to give a thumbs up. It really does help with the algorithms. What bummed me out today was, while I was working on some videos and some videos rendering on my editing program, I saw on the corner of my screen there was a First Amendment auditor that I think is pretty halfway decent, and I clicked on it. I'm not going to give you his name. It's not really important. I mean, maybe I will at a later date, but it's not really germane to this conversation right here. But I just encouraged him. I said, hey, man, thank you for being on the front lines. I have great respect for people who go out there and put their butt on the line for all of us to try to set brush fires of freedom in the minds of men. To me, it's not a cliche. It's just a way of life. And when I see and it wasn't James Freeman. I like James Freeman a lot. But when I see a James Freeman or a San Joaquin Valley Transparency or Audit the Audit or any one of those guys go out there and hold other human beings who are wearing uniforms, badges, and guns and come with the authority of the state, holding them accountable and championing the cause of not just their freedom, but all of our freedoms, I just have a ton of respect for them. I don't know what their motives are. I'm just assuming their motives are good. So anyway, just as I always do when I'm on a First Amendment Auditor live stream, I just say, hey man, I really appreciate your work. Thank you for what you do. And the dude just started coming at me, man. I mean, I guess I'd have to search my heart. Was I offended about it? I guess to an extent I was, if I'm being completely honest. And then people could go, Brian, you're being such a snowflake. What a pussycat. What a, don't let that kind of stuff bother you. It kind of bothers me because part of this, part of living in this world and making a good life is not just combating tyranny, but being a good person. You know what I mean? Being that neighbor that you would want living next door to you. Being that helpful person that you would want to meet on that subway or whatever. It's like, I don't know, being a good human and having a good character goes a long way to set those brush fires of freedom in the minds of men. It makes freedom look even more attractive when it's a person who has a good character and actually cares about his fellow human beings. But this guy started coming at me and was like, don't thank me. The only reason I'm out here is to make money, basically. And I'm like, and people in the room were like, hey, I appreciate the honesty, but it was real venomous, you know what I mean? And it kind of caught me off guard. And I was just thinking, you know what? I'm pretty naive. Because I do think the best of people. I'm thinking people are out there just because, they want a free country. They want a free nation. They want a free world. They want to make things better. They want to push back the iron fist of tyranny. And, I don't know. I guess my feelings were hurt. Were hurt. And it bummed me out because I was like, oh my gosh, it was almost like a punch in the gut and all the air came out. And it was like, wow, for all the steps that I thought I was taking forward, I just took like 20 of them back. So, I don't know. The price of freedom truly is eternal vigilance, but it's more than just being free. It's like, what do you do with your freedom? What kind of person are you? Are you working on your character? Because guys, the way life is, life comes against you. And you can either roll over and let it just trample on you, or you can take all those negative experiences that you have in life and you can use them for your benefit. It's like that song, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. And I've experienced that. I'm sure you guys have experienced that. It does seem like it's always darker before the dawn. It seems like you go through the worst depression and the worst times of your life, but if you can just hold on and make it through that, it's like that. It makes the dawning of the next day that much sweeter, and it makes you long for that day more and more and more. Long for the day of just, you know what, I just want to be free. And you know what? Even if you could look down the road and go, hey, Brian, all of your efforts are going to still lead us to the boxcars. All of your efforts still lead to these massive football field sized ditches where they just pile bodies in and just cover them up with these earth moving bulldozers. That's what it's going to end up. You know what? I don't care. Because I want to do all the good I can to all the people I can in all the ways I can by all the means I can simply because I can. And I think that's what makes life sweet. That's what makes life worth living. That's what helps you get out of depression. You know, a lot of people put a 1 in the room for being depressed. You know, the number one way that I've personally found to get out of depression is stop focusing on myself and help somebody else. Do something for somebody or do something for something. Like, have you seen a baby bird fall from a nest? Try to find the mother. You know, it's like a fulfilling experience or something. Is there a stray dog in the neighborhood that whose ribs are showing and you want to, let's nurse this dog back to health, or just whatever. Stop focusing on yourself and do something positive for someone or something else. Look at this. That's the last part of the day here in southeastern Oklahoma. Is it dark where you guys are? Wherever you guys are, do you still have sunlight left, or is it the end of the day? Is it the beginning of the morning where you are? And there's, you know what has really, really taught me a lesson in life? Simple gardening. And if you could just learn the lesson of the gardener, let me ask you a question. Put a 1 in the room if you've ever grown a garden. Any kind, I don't care what size it is. I don't care if it was a big multi-acre garden or just a little backyard thing or something on your deck in New York, on your back porch or something in New York. You ever grown a garden? Have you ever, there's an adage in life, you reap what you sow. that which you sow, you shall also reap. If you sow goodness, you'll reap goodness. If you sow evil, that evil somehow, some way, in some form or fashion comes back to you. But have you ever sowed a weed in your garden? Have you ever planted weed seeds? And I'm not talking about marijuana weed. I'm talking about like weeds that choke out a garden. I have never, ever in my life seen or sowed a weed in my garden, and yet every garden that I've ever grown, it doesn't grow one or two weeds. There are hundreds of them, and it's almost like they spring up overnight. It's like, I didn't plant these. Where did these all come from? But if you're a faithful gardener and you care about your your tomato crops, your whatever spinach or your watermelon or whatever patch of corn, whatever you're growing, if you care about the longevity and the health of the final product, the fruit that you're going to bear, you will pull the weeds from your garden, and it takes time. And it doesn't take weeds hardly any time at all, not just to grow up, but to completely overtake your garden. It's the craziest thing. You've grown a garden. Never planted a weed seed, but somehow miraculously they spring up overnight. They'll grow faster than your corn, I'll tell you that. They grow faster than your squash or your cucumbers or your tomatoes. But if you're faithful in your garden to be out there every single day, not just watering the plants that you want to grow, but weeding all the plants that you don't want to grow. But it takes every day. And if you just do a little bit every day, it works, and you can clear your whole garden of weeds really, really fast. But if you're just watering your garden and you just you're not paying attention to the weeds, and it takes, like a week or two later, you look and it's like, holy cow, you're going to have to spend all day into the next day to pick all the weeds that have grown, because not only have they grown, they've grown up above the soil, and the roots have just burrowed down into the soil. So when you pull those weeds, it's going to take you forever. But if you just keep short accounts and you pull those things every single day, you're good to go. It's the same thing with your life. You don't sow the trouble. You don't intentionally go out and sow the trouble. I want to address this super chat. Politically Atheist says Brian is having his own Olympics out there. Tokyo, Oklahoma, winning all the golds. Yeah, because I'm competing against myself. Thanks, Politically Atheist. I appreciate that super chat. But the garden is no different than your life, guys. Next time you go out and garden, and when you're pulling those weeds, because if you're a good gardener, you're pulling weeds. That's your job. You're pulling weeds. You're safeguarding your crop. That crop took you money to buy the seed. It took you time and laboring energy to get all that stuff in the ground, to get the ground tilled up, everything ready, everything that goes with gardening. You're going to be pulling weeds. And if you just do that with your life, the problem with people, the reason they sink so deep into depression is because they don't deal with those things that crop up, and they're cropping up right now. As I'm talking, they're cropping up in my life and your life. And you got to get alone to a quiet place, turn off the radio, turn off the TV, turn off the music, push all those bad thoughts out, and think about who you are, what you're doing, where you're going to go, how you treating your family, how you treating people in your life. And then find what the weeds are. What are those weeds? Where are the weeds? I got to identify those weeds. And then when you pull them up, that's another thing about weeds. You got to be super careful about how you pull up a weed. Because if you're haphazard about it, watch, I'll show you. If you're haphazard about it and you just pluck them at the beginning, the top, they'll snap off at the top. But those roots are still there. It's going to spring up faster than ever. But if you take the time to put your finger under the soil and get a firm grasp on that very end of that weed, and then you just kind of pull it up slowly. Let me see. I want to show you guys something. I'm in this little playground at this school right here. I don't even know if you can see it that well because it's kind of dark, but there's some weeds around here somewhere. Every time I come to this park, it's like three days a week I get cardio. I do this whole circuit with my bike. And this playground right here, I don't know if you can see it, but it was cut, not totally covered, but it had a bunch of weeds here. And every time I come, I make it a point to pick one or two weeds. And now you can see it's pretty clear. The kid, I'll tell you this, The kids on the playground Monday through Friday, they ain't pulling weeds. They're walking over the weeds. They're going to the monkey. Oh, cool, the monkey bars. Oh, look at this. Woohoo, look at me. Look at the monkey bar. And they're just going, trampling all over the weeds, and the weeds are just growing and growing and growing. Let me see if I can. Yeah, here's a weed. Look at this. Look at this. Can you see this weed? All right, here's a weed, and here's a weed right here. Look at these. See these weeds? Okay, so look. You could just haphazardly just go, oh yeah, I'm gonna pull this weed right here. Let's see. Oh yeah, I took care of that weed. Look, I'm just gonna throw that weed out. But then the rest of it is just sitting there growing. But like, picture this as your life. So you're gonna get into a quiet place. You're gonna turn off the TV, the radio, all the music, all the distractions, get away from everybody, and you're just gonna think, and you're gonna dig down. Check this out. You're just gonna dig down. Dig down. Look at this. Okay, where's this weed? Okay, so now you're gonna put your fingers underneath. I don't know if you can even see this. Can you see that? And then you're just gonna kind of give it a kind of a little jerk. And look at that. Look at that. The root comes out with it. I don't even think that was all of it, but that's way better than trying to pick it from the top. See that? Let's try this other weed right here. Check this out. Let's get all these rocks out of the way. Man, it hurts kneeling down on this rock here. Okay, so here's a weed. See, look at the stalk of that weed right there. Can you see it? I want to get a good angle on this. Then you get down. Man, that is a hefty weed right there. This is a Hulk weed. I want to get way down because I want to get this root. I want to get this root out of here. All right, this is so sad. Oh my God, that's satisfying. Oh no, it broke. It broke off, but that is so satisfying, man. That's what you're weeding out of your garden, man. These things right here will just completely take over your tomato plants, cucumbers, melons, everything. And really, this kind of stuff takes over your life. I want to see if I can get it. I pretty much got it. Look at that. So if you're depressed, just get into a quiet place and find out why you're depressed. There's probably a reason for it. Look at that. Look at these root structures right here. Holy moly, we don't need this. And let me just show you what happens to weeds, because I don't know if I usually throw them in one place, but then when the wind kicks up, it blows them all away because these weeds, they dry out. I don't know if I saw one here. Yeah, check this out. Look at this. Here's a weed that I had pulled out a long time ago. Look at that. This was satisfying. Look, but even on the end, look, I missed that part right there. Look, I was super careful to get this one out. But see the end where it snapped off? See that? I didn't get it all. So the rest of what's under the surface right there, it will come out. And it will turn into this huge weed. And unless I'm watchful, these weeds will just overtake this whole thing because nobody else is watching it. And most people don't. Most people do not police. Most people do not police their lives. Most people are pretty lazy about their lives, actually. So if you're depressed, one of the best things you can do is stop focusing on yourself and do something positive for somebody else. I think I saw a super chat. Hold on. Let me give a shout out here. I'm going to try to make this quick. I'm not going to be on here for 2 hours like I usually. The Jerk 85 says, when they say are you VA double X'd, I respond with saying I don't do drugs. It's like, no, the government taught me back in the 1980s, just say no. I'm still a follower of Nancy Reagan. She said just say no. So hey, got to tell you no. That's what the government taught me. It's like, no. The government changed their modus operandi. Now you have to say yes. And you have to bow down at the altar of Jabbo. That was a good one, man. That was a good one. I think that's it. I think that's all the super chats. I just don't want to miss you guys. I really appreciate it. So yeah, I was bummed out about that auditor. I might do a video on it. Not to put him on blast, because to each his own, you know. Or maybe I'll just leave it alone. I don't know. What do you guys think I should do a video on that? He gets a lot of support. A lot of people were super chatting him going, yeah, that's right, damn right. I don't know if there's 451 people in here. There's 451 people in here. If I get 100 ones, I'll do a video on that. But it's not to put him on blast, just to there's a principle there. There's a principle. Being a good person matters, guys. Being a good person matters. Having a good character matters. And we know what's good and we know what's bad. And we know who good people are and we know who bad people are. You don't have to have somebody teach you what evil and what good is. You don't have to have somebody teach you that. Wow, that's a lot of ones. I was not really expecting anybody to say one. I was expecting people to go, no, leave it alone. Leave it alone. Just go on with your life. Oh, that wasn't 100 ones though. I really appreciate you guys. It's getting dark here. Hope everybody's drinking their water today, taking care of their bodies, sensitizing their immune function through whatever means that you feel like you need to do that. Isn't that amazing that one thing that fake stream, mainstream CIA infiltrated Operation Mockingbird, MK Ultra Media doesn't do is saying, hey, you know what you can do to strengthen your natural immunity? ... I'm not giving any medical advice right here. I just want you guys to know that. But isn't it strange that rather than mainstream media going, hey, you can do this naturally right here, they're basically saying you need to dive into the world of synthetics. You need to dive into the world of that company that back in 2009, CNN identified as too big to nail. That's right, Pfizer. Engaged in corrupt marketing practices, bribing physicians and suppressing adverse trial results. What the heck kind of world are we living in, man? 459 people in here, 336 likes. I wonder if we can get up to 400 likes before the end of this live stream. I will end it in 2 minutes here, guys. It's getting dark. Trish is probably wondering where I am. Let me see. What are you guys saying here? Let's see. He's live streaming. Who cares about a drone? Oh yeah, they must have parked the drone. When it got dark, I didn't hear it anymore. I was biking up a hill one time in this town, and a drone was following me. It was following me for a good, it wasn't 10 minutes, but it was a good 6 or 7 minutes. And I was going through some trail, in and out of some trails, and I was like, where are the people operating this drone? Wow, that's a good drone pilot to stay with me that long. CIA Black Ops chasing Brian Young because he's such a threat to the establishment. I've heard so many people on YouTube channels going, yeah, no, I'm not kidding. Like 2 or 3 times a week, the black helicopters are outside, and I know for a fact there's black SUVs constantly following me anytime I go out of the garage. Yeah, I don't have such an inflated view of myself that I think the CIA really cares about what Brian Young's doing. Let's see. Hey, what's up, Emerald? Oh, smash that like button. 417 likes. Holy cow. Man, I'll tell you one thing. You know what? Mosquitoes are eating up my legs right now. Whoo-hoo. Thank you for hitting that like button. Thanks, Iron Fist. What's up, Y2K? Dark Hado, what's going on, man? Man, that is a big mosquito right there. All right, guys. I don't want to get... I don't want these blood-sucking parasites to have any more of my flesh, so I'm going to end this live stream. Guys, I will see you later. Thank you very much for joining this live stream. I will see you in the next one. I do have another video that I'm uploading right here on this channel right here, so stay tuned. When I get home, I'm gonna upload that. It's going to take me about an hour, and that should upload at, what time is it? What time is it? 9:15? Okay, it should be uploaded by 9:45. Then I'm going to hit the gym. I'll see you guys. Have a great night.